Yep.
We survived. My name is Rose.
I'm Brody.
Oh, start over. Sorry. It was good. Sorry, guys.
I'm Brody.
Oh, fuck. And I'm Jess.
This is one frame off.
And I guess I'm off today.
We're all a little off.
We're all... look, I survived Halloween.
Yep.
My liver didn't.
No, it didn't.
No, not at
Lord. Look, I watched The Conjuring. I got bored after the first 25 minutes.
You poor thing.
Brody's shaking his head.
It's just, I knew
the
you...
first, 30 minutes. Listen, I tried, but it's so fucking boring. The first half hour is just exposition where it could just jump in. Like, I get it. It's like a 2-hour film. But if you spend less than 5 minutes explaining who the Ed and Lorraine Warrens are, and then you just jump right into the Perron family, I'm like, okay, I get it, exposition, but come on, guys. I don't need all this exposition about the Perron family. Just get into the shit that they were doing. What's happening?
Would you have preferred if they just started off spooky, though?
No.
Well, there you go.
I like the beginning of the Conjuring movie with the Ed and Lorraine Warren stuff. Yeah.
No, it's less than a minute, though.
Well, yeah.
They start off the film with Annabelle, wrapping up Annabelle, like, cool, great, A+, clap in the hands for you, or clap, whatever. Look, A+ on that, I appreciate it. Then it's like, oh yes, these are the Warrens. Okay, now we're jumping right into the parents. I'm like,
yeah. Well, it's like the joke from The Office of like, it's like Erin, the character, she's just like, I like the horror movies. I just like the first 10 minutes where it's all the happy family where nothing can go wrong.
No. Then I tried Haunting at Hill House.
I think you did Bly Manor.
Bly Manor, too. Bly Manor, it was Bly Manor. 15 minutes in, it's all drama. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah, it's personal, so that way when like
it's a horror drama.
So when they actually do feel threatened,
drama's not boring though to me.
Oh, I don't know.
There really just is no pleasing you with these horror things, are there?
Yeah.
Blair Witch was actually okay. I have a bone to pick with Blair Witch.
Okay.
You expect me to think it's a quote unquote found footage film. Mm-hmm. Everyone dies, right? Yeah. That's the whole point. All 3 of these filmmaker kids died.
Spoilers.
Who? I mean,
yeah, I did not. Like 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Come on, guys. Anyways, then you expect me to believe that these kids were running around the woods, goes to the witch's house, survives, get the footage, and then come home as if nothing fucking happened.
I'd like to think police found the footage or something.
Yeah, but still, that doesn't explain. The police go into the woods. Alright, so it's not kids, it's the police. The police are like, oh, missing persons report, we're gonna go into the woods, we're gonna explore, blah, blah, blah. Nothing fucking happens to them.
Actually, that would make a good sequel. No. This the body cam footage off the police finding it.
Yeah, for sure. They did that in like the Tech 20, like, or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the one with Jessica Biel, where like the cops are going in and finding...
Yes, I'm
just telling you right now, you're putting more thought into this movie than they put into the movie. Okay?
Yeah.
No,
you're thinking about it way too much.
You're like, woods are scary, we'll film theirs, cheap.
Yeah.
Look, and then we did do quite honestly the most terrifying film, which was Midsommar, but Jess and I were too drunk and too tired to appreciate it. And quite frankly, the first 5 minutes terrified me.
Yeah.
I've appreciated that movie a lot. I've seen it maybe 8 times. I'm like a really big fan of that movie.
It really is a fantastic
movie. Really fantastic, and you notice something new about it every time you watch it, and I never get sick of it. I really don't. Like, I think it's fantastic.
I watched about, 25
We got about 30 minutes in, maybe 40. Like, we got about halfway through. Like, they showed up at the compound and had already taken shrooms. Like, we got a good portion of the way in.
It was pretty terrifying. I did not like it.
The first act is definitely like the big guttural, like horrific scene.
It's really slow building up until the end, which is good.
Her sister having that mental health issue and just like killing herself and her parents was horrifying.
And the scary thing is, like, that's not like a ghost like getting at you. That's like something real.
It's something real. That's what terrifies me.
Nothing in the movie is paranormal at all. It's all like man's worst enemy.
Psychological horror is really the deep end that I No.
That's where I live my life.
I really have to mentally prepare myself. So
it's like a warm blanket for Jess.
It is. I fall asleep to Midsommar all the time. It's a great going-to-bed movie.
Psychological horror, and I'm like, oh, hell. I was not prepared for this.
So we were going to do Hereditary, but they took it off of
Thank God.
Amazon. And
Thank
also,
God.
one of our girlfriends we were with last night actually lived in Sweden for a long time, so she was like, hell yeah, let's do Midsommar.
Thank God they took away Hereditary.
She'd even been to multiple Midsommar celebrations, so... You know.
Whatever. Halloween was yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
No, just wrapping it up because I did mention it for Halloween.
Hopefully you all listened to our Halloween episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you haven't, you should do that after this.
By the way, I just want to sideline. This is episode 4 now, and we've gotten a lot of great feedback after putting out 3 episodes. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been listening, everyone who's given us some support, everyone who's told us they like it, everyone who's been sharing it around.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we really do appreciate it.
Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah, we're trying, and it's good to know that there's actually people who are responding
Look,
to
we're
it.
getting better every day.
Oh, yeah, we really are.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, drinks that we need for movies and such.
Yeah.
Brody, what are you drinking today?
I can't pronounce the name mostly because I forgot it. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon. But
Cab Sav.
But I mostly just got it because the bottle looked interesting.
Yes, that's the best way to buy wine. 100%.
Yeah, no, like it was just like a stone wall with like a skeleton woman dressed in like religious garb, kind of like perched up against it, and I'm like, all right, she's having a good time. I want that wine. So that's what I'm sipping.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brody.
Oh, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, I'm drinking the Cigar City High LA. It's one of my favorite IPAs. Cigar City is a brewery out of Miami, Florida, I believe. Florida in general, I believe it's Miami. Mm-hmm. Tampa, Florida, I apologize. But they have a Cigar City in Miami. I think last time I was there. My parents live there. Love a High LA, one of my favorite beers.
I'm drinking a West Coast.
No. You're drinking a Cape Cod.
A Cape Cod. But
No, not that either.
It's not even a Cape Cod, though.
It's a Cape Cod.
It's got apple vodka, okay?
Apple vodka and cranberry juice.
Great, that's what it is.
Oh, we could call it a Tree Trunks.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, we just made up a tree.
I'd like to live in that world.
I know. Tree Trunks is a character from Adventure Time.
Yeah, the little elephant.
Yeah, she's a
she's
little
an old
green
lady
elephant
who just makes pies.
who makes pies in a forest. Mm-hmm. And she talks like she's super southern.
She's a Southern belle who
yes,
married Mr.
Brody.
Pig.
Yes.
And then she raised a lich as her baby.
Yes, she did. That's
right.
amazing. Okay, guys, so what did we just finish doing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Speaking of Tree Trunks and fictional characters, we did play a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
We just finished doing a game of the new Mario Party out on Switch.
Yep.
Mario Party All-Stars.
Our little team hangout before we started recording. It is a combination of all of your favorite maps from previous games as well as mini games, which is such a breath of fresh air compared to the first release on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can all agree. I like that one too, but this
Never
one,
played
it's like my childhood, man. I was on the GameCube every day with my sisters playing Mario Party. Well, as much as they would play with me, they didn't do it that often.
I gotta really just say, like, the thing I appreciate the most about it is compared to the most recent Mario Party before this one, it's like, back in the day, those games were like, fuck you, level hard. And this isn't exactly like that, but it's more like that. It's a good sweet spot.
Yeah.
It is more challenging, and there are more opportunities to be a saboteur.
Saboteur.
In other words, just be a jackass.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks, Jess, for knocking me down.
Mm-hmm.
It's called winning, and I didn't even win, okay?
That was the worst part. She knocked me off the platform and didn't even win.
Nope.
Yeah, well, you know.
You gotta play the game.
I think, who was it? Was it Brody who won that round?
Yeah, Brody won.
Yeah.
I was gonna mention it and be all pompous, but yeah.
No, Brody won overall.
I was the winner. Yoshi wins.
Oh, come on, Rosalina will get there.
She'll get there.
Yeah.
She's got
if
better
Brody
things.
decides to play as her one day.
Well, I got a close second, alright? A close second.
It was a good game.
It was a very good game.
Yeah, there wasn't too many. There wasn't too much backstabbing. It was just Fun time with friends.
First time around, because we never played the game together. So of course,
Yeah. It was.
So
We were all being
later
nice
on.
to each other. You know, we wanted to have a good,
Certainly.
productive session.
Oh no! Certainly, we're gonna be all backstabbing each other in the.
Oh, yeah.
You're like right where it hurts too.
We're just
Well, when you
sharpening the
have-
knives.
Stationary stars that don't move around the map. That's how you get your leg up. That's like how you're supposed to play the game.
Well, I mean, but when you have stars that move, though, that's the trick of it.
Well, having stars that moves, and there's also an item that will like move the star.
Yes.
That's
to
when you
where
really get
want
to
it.
like the backstabbing.
Yeah, we just need to play a map like that, Jess.
Look, we just need to get really
Well-
angry and really drunk.
Yeah,
And
well,
play
I
the
don't
hardest
wanna
thing
play
ever.
The original ones, or the first one on Switch. We're only playing this one.
Yeah.
We're not playing that one anymore. It's dead to me.
Nope.
Really?
This is the big boy Mario Party
Dead and
now.
buried. Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
Because it's not as good.
It's like technology. Like, as soon as the next cool thing comes out, the other one just doesn't really hold up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and if it's not like your most favorite game, how often do you actually replay a game where you were like, yeah, it was fine.
I mean, out of obligation, I have over 100 hours in Assassin's Creed 1.
Well, who obligated that?
Yeah. You just like
Me.
Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed. You know,
Exactly. Like
I've got
played
over
it.
2,000 hours in The Sims 4.
And we're still playing it. No, we still have a sim. For me, at least.
I play The Sims I go through phases where I'll play it like nonstop for 6 months and then I won't pick it up again. It just is what it is. I enjoy it.
Get the Sims at some point.
Next Steam sale, pick it up.
definitely.
They very frequently have The Sims 4 base game on sale for $5,
The
and
base game.
I've probably put about $600 into expansion packs over the past 4 years.
What?
Absolutely,
How much do you get out of that?
a
A
lot.
lot.
I would imagine.
A lot of content. I
Or
just said,
hope.
I've put over 2,000 hours into this game. That's a lot of time.
It's a lot.
Well,
Yeah.
goddamn.
Yeah, between that and RimWorld, I don't even play new games on my PC. Just Sims and RimWorld.
All right, Jess. So I have to pose the question to you then. In all media, books, movies, TV shows, games, what would be the best universe for you to live in?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I thought about that a lot. As I'm sure we all have.
Yeah. Reality kind of sucks.
Reality.
Our
reality sucks.
sucked.
Well,
But-
I like reality sometimes. I'm not going to say I'm like
Yes, it does ups and
like
downs.
as jaded as I was in my early 20s, but
But that's the big question of the day. What's the best alternate universe and the
What's
worst
the
alternate
worst?
universe?
Oh.
that you could live in as yourself.
So not as like the protagonist, not as someone who's on like the big quest to do anything, but just like living a life very similar to your own real world life, but just translated over to this fictional universe.
Yes. When we decided to use this as our premise for today, obviously I had lots of thoughts about
Oh, we had millions
we
of
had
them.
so many thoughts.
many.
about what I thought would be the happiest place for me to exist.
And
Yeah.
it was hard to narrow down too. Like we kept getting really good ones.
Mm-hmm. Like
The
I'm
best and the worst. I'm just like,
yeah.
It's so hard to narrow it down.
We
but I
could
think
talk
got
about
it.
this for like days, but
Well,
we really decided
I feel like what
too
it really is like you want a place where you feel like some part of what you like some secret part of you is going to get fulfilled, but you also want it to be kind of representative of who you are as a person, especially on a public format like this. Like
Exactly.
you don't want to be
Oh,
like.
I did not put that much thought in my worst.
We'll get to
Although
that in a
as
moment.
soon as I just said that, I was just thinking like, how cool would it be just to live like in the Teletubby world?
Oh my god.
It would be
I almost
so
did a spit take.
simple.
Except for the baby son. Other than that, everything would be magical.
Aw.
You didn't see this, but I was drinking.
Oh yeah, actual
I was-
spit take.
I was like almost very close when Jeff said that. Very close to a legit spit take.
Dude, I watched Teletubbies up until about I was like 17. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need to
I
talk
kind
about
of
that
had
too
like
much.
the similar thing where it's like I watched a lot of kids shows like way later, but then like when I started smoking weed, I got really back into them.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I was
Okay.
absolutely smoking weed. Okay.
Which I didn't do in North Carolina, a state where it's illegal, but we'll get it. We'll just covering those tracks.
Yeah,
no,
where I
don't-
lived is not important.
Yeah.
Look, don't
Drugs are bad. Wink.
Don't break the law. That's nudge, hint, hint. Also, drink responsibly. I don't think we've ever said that, but we need to say it.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
We don't ever say that.
We
Drink responsibly, guys.
Yeah, we're all a bunch of friends sitting around talking about movies
in
and
a
stuff,
safe
having
environment.
drinks, and that's good.
Yeah, no, like Brody, he's in walking distance. If I really need to, I can crash here at Jess's.
And Jess
But-
lives here, so she
Yeah,
can do
I
whatever
live
she
there,
wants.
so
Yeah.
I'm
But drink
just,
responsibly,
chilling.
guys. Don't do drugs and
Except for the
obey
good
law.
ones.
Yeah, only do the fun ones.
Or
Okay,
just
so
like the
But
ones
yeah,
we need.
let's get back on
okay,
track.
enough about drug use. Let's get back on track.
From drugs to dragons, I suppose, Jess?
I'd play that game. Drugs and
Oh.
Dragons.
Yeah, it's like D&D, but we only do drugs.
You chase the dragon, if
yeah,
you know
we
what I
chase
mean.
the dragon. We just sit around in a circle and talk shit about movies. So mine would definitely be for best the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Like,
Wait, what's your house?
I'm a Slytherin.
I'm a Hufflepuff.
Also Hufflepuff.
Hell yes! We just collect the Slytherins, though. It's just...
Slytherins are cool.
they are.
I have had two.
Slytherins and Ravenclaw.
I have had
are
two
best.
girlfriends, and they both self-identified as Slytherins. So
Okay.
I self-identify, but I also have taken the Pottermore test.
Me too. I took the
Because I had to
Mhm.
make sure it was official. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Yeah, of course.
Does everybody know what their Patronuses are?
I took mine a long time ago, and if I remember, I think it was a tabby cat or something like a cat.
That actually makes a lot of
Mine
sense.
was like... I think mine was either a dog or a deer.
Mine is a stallion.
Ooh.
Oh. Alright.
Yeah, I was really
Alright.
excited
Wait,
about
what's
that
your
one.
wand? I don't know mine, but what's your wand, Jess?
It's I can't remember the wood type, but I know it has a unicorn hair in it.
I think mine was a dragon.
Dragon heartstring.
Yeah.
Cool.
I barely remember, but I want to say Phoenix Feather.
Hell yeah!
That's dope.
Yeah.
That is dope.
That could be wrong. I could just be misremembering that.
All right, so I am Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
What
Ever
would you
since-
be doing?
What would I be doing?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I would have been a completely average student. First off,
Right,
A
and
totally average student. I would have played Quidditch most likely because I did play sports in middle school and high school.
Mhm.
Would have played Quidditch. Would have been like totally average, but like I'm a really good sister and team player, which was what I brought to the table when I played
Right.
volleyball. So I would have played Quidditch. Totally average student. Definitely would have been sneaking out behind Hagrid's hut to like smoke cigs in between classes, like for sure. I don't know. Yeah, cigarettes. Probably hand rolled in Harry Potter, which is
Yeah,
fine.
hand-rolled.
You
Oh,
know.
yeah. Or they got a
whatever.
spell for that, maybe.
Oh, they have spells for everything.
What
Hell
if you
yeah.
can cast a spell to just hand roll cigarettes while you're just chilling?
Yeah, man.
That'd be so cool.
That's exactly what they have.
I'd be smoking spliffs behind Hagrid's hut, you know, just hanging out. I don't know who my friend group would have been because I'm not super familiar with the like the B and C characters in Slytherin.
Mhm.
You know what I'm not. They're not
Aren't they
portrayed
just
super
the
well.
Goonies? The
Pardon?
Goonies?
No, there's a few other like tertiary
Ah.
women that they've mentioned by name, but they're not
Yeah.
super important. I was friends with everybody in high school, so I would have been friends with
Oh,
everybody in
yeah,
every
the
house.
same.
Yeah, I wouldn't
we
have
had
been.
a very intricate network back
You-
in high school.
Yeah, you would have been the friendly Slytherin.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have hung out with everybody. I probably would have left school early, not finished, if that's an option,
I'm sure it is.
or like not gone to Wizard College at least. Maybe finish the high school. Would not have gone to Wizard College.
I think everyone has to do the wizarding school just to be like, all right, you're not going to kill yourself. Here's your wand.
Yeah,
Here's how you use
Yeah.
it not to get yourself killed by accident. All
I-
right,
You gotta learn to
you're done.
control that stuff.
Yeah, I would like
Yeah.
to imagine that my interest would have been a lot more peaked if I was learning magic in school as opposed to like fractions and shit.
Yeah.
Who's to say though? Who's to say? There isn't anything that I can't be like, I don't want to do this.
Oh my god, on the note of fractions, real fun fact about the Harry Potter film, the cast, in the study hall, all of the study hall sessions that they filmed for the movies,
Mhm.
they actually gave the kids fucking algebra or high math.
Well, yeah.
So when all the kids are looking around like, what the fuck is this? They legitimately don't know how to do the math problem.
I did not do that.
I'm
and
sure
that's
that-
pretty amazing.
No, because
I'm sure that
the
that was all the
director-
mother's idea.
no,
Where it's
the
like, if they're
director
going to
was
be
like,
just like chilling in the background, they might as well do their homework.
It's so like in Sorcerer's Stone, all the like 10-year-olds would just stare at the camera, so they had to give
Mhm.
them fractions to do.
No, like the director was like, I want this to be as authentic as possible, here everyone is going to have a homework packet.
So
We'll
did
tell
they-
you what scene to do it in.
Did they actually make homework for them?
Yes!
Oh,
they got like worksheets and shit.
Imagine being a kid thinking, this is my big break. What do I gotta do? Fractions.
Fuck worksheets, man.
Fractions
Such a
that
waste
you
of
don't
paper
even
and
know how to
time.
do.
Mm.
Like, I don't know how to fucking do a fraction, and I'm just a 10-year-old.
How do I fraction?
How do I fraction? I'm a
I know how to write them
10-year-old.
down. I don't know how.
I know Leviosa. I don't know fractions
All
though.
the scenes that they're like, what the hell is this? We're in the study hall, like, that's legitimate. Like, the kids honestly didn't know how to do their fucking homework.
That is funny though. Do you know what you would have studied in Hogwarts, or what's the American Hogwarts actually?
Oh, I forgot the
that's,
damn name.
I remember they mentioned it in the
No, there's
Fantastic Beasts films.
Yeah.
Is the word that.
No, in the like whole Harry Potter universe, it has like you can be sorted into the different houses here.
Yeah, they have it on Pottermore, and we're not talking about Durmstrang or Beauxbaton. There's a North American school.
Mhm.
It was created. I mean, you know, she's gonna pull whatever
It's
out of her
in-
ass,
in
but it was
Salem.
created for the Fantastic Beasts universe.
Was it actually
No,
created in
wasn't-
Salem?
no,
To
it's
introduce-
actually
The North American region.
no, it's like a legitimate thing. It's been around for a while, far longer than that. That house, that school, yeah, it's been around. There was a U.S. version far before Fantastic Beasts. It's apparently a part of the universe.
I don't think so.
Fact check us on
Yeah.
that.
I don't-
Googling.
Yeah, fact check real quick. So the North American sect of Wizarding School was created, literally just to push this film and get people stoked for it. And if everybody got on board, you know they were gonna try and do a freaking spin-off.
Yeah, that's your school life. What would you do like after all that?
After that. So you went to Hogwarts, you graduated, hooray!
Oh, I would for sure be just slinging butterbeer in the hog's head. Absolutely. I would be living a really normal, plain life.
So would you be managing the Hog's Head?
Maybe eventually. Who knows?
Because you did start off as a server or bartender, then eventually.
I've worked
manager.
every front of house position that you can in a restaurant.
Okay.
Absolutely. I've been working in restaurants for about 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I've worked every position in front of house, and I would imagine young Jessica in the Harry Potter universe would have gravitated to working in a restaurant too, because it's quick and easy money, and I still have plenty of time to party as much as I want to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
And maybe as I aged, I would move over to Leaky Cauldron. Who knows? I have no idea, but
I can see you in the Leaky Cauldron just being the manager. I don't know why, but I can totally imagine that. Am I not wrong, Ruby?
I mean, yeah, I get that. I can only imagine that a lot of how cool. I'm just thinking about Fantastic Beasts where they went to that speakeasy.
yeah.
Yo.
So many
I
wizard
can't-
bars
yo,
would just be
Jess,
speakeasies. I
I
think.
feel like.
Or I could
Young
open up
Jess.
a bar on Nocturne Alley, because I am a Slytherin. I could cater
Yeah.
to my dark arts brethren.
The dark arts dive bar
Yeah, absolutely.
with dark billiards.
Oh,
and
you know
dark
what?
darts.
It'd just be a dive bar.
Yeah, just be a
Or
dive bar.
or
Oh,
I
no, wait,
could
wait, I'm sorry.
eventually open up a magical brewery.
Yeah, all the muggles
man.
walk in, they just see the shadiest, schemy dive bar. All the wizards walk in, they see this fantastic, speakeasy, classy joint.
Yes.
But we don't have bartenders because all the cocktails are mixed magically.
Of
Yes.
course.
Yeah, ticket times are real
maybe,
good.
Hold on, maybe 1 or 2 bartenders.
No. We do it by magic. Because
You wouldn't
the
get-
profit margins in restaurants are so small. If you could cut some corners with really great illusion magic
Mm-hmm.
and enchanting, hell yeah, do that. Do that.
And you get that muggle money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, we could get muggle money, and I've got, plenty of wizarding coin as well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I'd like to think that's what I would do. I would definitely have a few magical pets too that hung out with me at the bar all the time.
Ooh.
Yeah, I feel like I have a barn owl vibe, but I would definitely have a cat too. Not a rat. Fuck scabbers.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't say rat because then the health inspector would come in and be like, "What's that? My magical pet rat." It's like, you get
That's
a
what
D.
they all say.
No, I feel like the magical health inspector wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But
They
not
go under
that
my hat
I
and mix
know
drinks
that
for me.
scabbers exist, but I heard rumors that what Peter Pettigrew was fucking around as a rat, and I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Who would I have been friends with? Like I said, I don't have any idea. I don't think I would have been friends with Harry Potter. I think I would have found them probably annoying. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I really probably would have.
Yeah.
Like, God, man, they are really just up Dumbledore's ass. Every day in the Great Hall eating breakfast, I'd be like, God, just look at them over there. It's so annoying.
I can imagine
Hold on. What about his father then? Harry's father, Lily and
James.
What about him?
Well,
No, would you have gone to school with them? Like, would you have just chilled
well,
out?
actually, I wouldn't have gone to school with any of them. The Harry Potter movies take place in like 1995.
So I would be going to school. Brody and I would have been going to school with Harry's kids.
Yeah.
With little Albus.
Albus.
Yeah.
Albie.
But I like
Albie.
to imagine. Like,
Albus would have gone to Slytherin, wouldn't he?
Yeah, Albus was Slytherin.
Yeah.
Because he chose it.
You've been best buddies with Albus.
I'm cool with that. Maybe be like, oh, this
Maybe.
guy thinks he's so cool because he's Harry Potter's kid.
It's like, do you know who my dad is?
Have you read the book? He hates it. He hates his father's reputation. I unfortunately read the Cursed Child and
the play.
Yeah, I read the play.
I refuse to read it.
Look, I was in LaGuardia. I was bored as hell. I was there for overnight. I legitimately went to a bookstore, bought that fucking book, read it the entire night I was there, and finished it 5 minutes before I landed in Raleigh.
I think at some point I just decided, I'm not giving J.K. Rowling any more of my money.
Nah.
Before all of the scandalous stuff happened, I just, decided,
that.
the content's not getting any better. The magic has already happened. I was grateful enough to have the books come out while I was in elementary school, and I got to read them as the same age as the characters were. Because I was around, 9 or 10 when the first book came out. So I got to read them and age with the characters, and nothing's going to top that. I don't need to continue on with any of that. I've hit my threshold. But as a child, the most magical thing to me would have been to get my wizarding letter and head off to Hogwarts and be a student there. It would literally be the most amazing thing. So that's my good universe. I would be a totally adequate, cynical bartender there too.
Okay, so going from the best to the worst.
Yeah, we're doing a snake draft order. So
Best.
Jess good, Rose bad, Brody good, Brody bad,
Rose good.
bad, Rose good,
Jess
bad.
bad.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Get your pen and paper out if you really need to make sure of that.
Going from the best to the worst, I would not survive till I was in my universe. I'd probably be killed before I was the age of 7.
If you're lucky.
If you're very lucky, because Gotham is a very dangerous place. Holy hell, I'd be killed by the Joker.
Yeah, Gotham City, famous from the Batman.
DC universe.
Batman and DC universe, yes.
Yeah. So I probably would have been killed off. killed right off by the Joker.
Oh yeah, no.
Hey mom, look at that little gift floating down from the sky. Honey, no, it's a bomb. Mm-hmm. And just been.
Joker would have definitely done the most to you because Gotham City.
As a child, I don't know how anyone survives till late adulthood. I'm talking late, maybe your 20s or 30s. Because you're either killed by the Joker when you're a child. Mm-hmm. You're either a building collapses on you because Batman decided to drive his fucking Batmobile through the building, collapsing it on top of your head. Or one of the, you get knocked over and get a fucking concussion by one of the Robins. There's 12 of them. Count them. There's probably
Robin number 6 this time.
Yeah, Robin number 6. Or fucking Penguin ends up in your block.
Yeah, well that's another thing. Well, that's another thing. Not even even if you aren't really at the wrath of all these big supervillains, it's still a horrible place to live.
Yeah,
in general.
take away the supervillains in general, the crime rate is still ridiculous.
The crime rate is
Politicians
ridiculous.
are corrupt.
There's no middle class. You're either really rich and evil,
really poor.
or poor to the point where you have to do crime to get by.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would not have survived Gotham.
No.
In any way, shape, or form. And somehow, by some miracle I would probably be working for a corrupt politician.
Right.
A corrupt businessman. Or be, joining fucking some grade A...
You'd be a goon.
Jackass. Goon.
A minion. A goon.
A goon, a minion, or whatever because I'm too poor to afford rent in my fucking apartment.
And you know what happens if you follow down that path?
I get my ass kicked by Batman.
You get both your arms broken by fucking Batman.
Or, hold on, the Robin that uses a gun. Who is it, Jason?
Yeah, Jason turns into Red Hood and he's
he
all
uses
mercenary
a gun.
now.
Like,
I mean,
Well, fucking
make life
finally.
easy.
They should be using guns in Gotham. It's a hellscape of a place.
yeah, like,
It's terrible.
even then.
Now, question: are there suburbs of Gotham?
There are,
Suburbs?
but you don't
Yeah.
want to be in them. Because then it's just, the suburbs get... So, one of the suburbs literally borders Arkham Asylum.
So
but
that's
it's
nice.
Still,
Yeah.
Well, okay, to be fair,
Rates
it's
are
still
low.
quite
The
a
screaming
lot.
at night
It's
soothes,
still-
lulls you to sleep. You know.
It's still quite a walk. Like, there is Arkham Asylum. It's several miles away, but it's still within, like, range of the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the fucking prison. I don't remember what it is, but it's basically,
It's black something.
Alcatraz.
Blackwater, Black
something.
Reach.
But it's like Alcatraz, but plop it in the middle of Gotham Bay,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where the prison is. So I'm
What would
sorry,
your
like,
day-to-day
we're
life be though? Like if you lived in
terrified for my
if you lived in
life.
Gotham at
Wake
the
up
age you are
terrified.
now, what would you be doing? Like what would your life be like? Let's assume that you didn't die as a 7-year-old. What would your
Oh,
life be
Lord.
like? What would
I
you see yourself
probably-
doing?
Honestly, I'd probably be working as a server at a bar that's heavily favored by all the villains. Because you know damn well that bartender has got his shit down.
Mm-hmm.
His or her shit, their shit down. Because Lord knows if some supervillains start fucking fighting in that bar, the bartender would just yeet their asses right out the door. Like, no, take that shit out into the street, not in my bar.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably be working
Like
in
a
the
mob
safest-
bar.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
safest
like a
place.
penguin-owned mob bar.
Yeah.
No, not even like penguin owned. Like,
Or
there's
like a
Mahoney
Falcone
or
or
Capone.
something.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. There
No,
we go.
just no mob at all.
no mob at all. It's
Well, there'd be
just
some protection involved with that, though.
Well, no, it's
Yeah.
just a
Because
well
people aren't going to bust
bar.
up that bar and cause problems there.
Unless
And
it's
you
like
ju-
a mob bar.
And you just work there.
Yeah,
You know, you
I
just
would
work
just
there.
work there.
Yeah, you don't peek behind the curtains. You're just
No,
like,
I'm just there.
spell my name right on the check and let me go home
Yeah,
unmurdered.
And it's constantly
Yeah, absolutely.
Being, I'm constantly being interrogated. It's constantly being investigated by Gotham PD.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like, oh, we know so-and-so was here. Like, look, dude, I'm just trying to get by. It's like the grace of God, I haven't died
And just
yet.
like another terrible job, Gotham PD.
Oh my God, I would
Yeah.
not want
Well,
that.
none of us here are equipped to be cops at all.
Oh, absolutely.
Even in
I-
a fake
I
world.
I am such a weenie. I could not do it.
No, I don't know how Commissioner Gordon did it for all those
I actually
years.
think I could do
Cigarettes,
it. Like that's not. I
coffee.
just don't have any follow through.
Cigarettes, coffee.
Cigarettes, coffee, despair.
Oh, yeah, that's
losing
breakfast,
sight of
baby.
humanity.
I eat
His
despair.
love for his daughter, but that doesn't
Just
turn
switch out the
well.
coffee for a sugar-free rock star, and I'm down.
Oh my God, no! Like I damn well know I would have been dead by the age of 7.
Mm.
But like the grace of God, I'd probably be working at one of the most safest bars in Gotham, and
Yeah,
everyone would know me. Here's the thing: I have a very much like, basically a little sister vibe, where you don't
Yeah.
want to upset me or hurt me. So all of the major villains would probably know me.
Oh my
as
God, that could
sweet-ass
be your
little-
crime name is Little Sister. That is
Ooh,
perfect.
No,
that's good.
I would
Oh,
not.
it's mysterious, and it has you come off as like people underestimate you.
Yeah, it's like a
when
mob.
they hear you.
It's like a mob family kind of
Oh,
tone to
I
it.
just got chills. That is such a good name for you as a
Rose-
pseudo criminal,
Well,
Rose,
Rose
My-
Nightingale, little sister.
aka
The
Little
little
Sis.
sister.
I love it. It's so good. It's like it gives me like Mama from the the Dread remake.
I don't know too much about Dread.
Okay, so I don't know a lot about the original, and we're not gonna. But it's really great. You should watch it. It's one of the best action movies. And Lena Headey from Game of Thrones plays Mama, and she's a badass like gangster leader that leads a mob in this like compound called Peach Trees, and she's Mama, and she's the badass. I love her.
That would be my best case scenario for that, though.
That would be
like
your
the
villain
little-
glow up.
No, like the little sister, the quote unquote little sister of all the major baddies. Even Batman wouldn't want to hurt me.
It's like I can't
At
beat up
that
my little
point.
sister.
No, I don't want to piss off literally every villain. I've been there, done that. I barely survived. all of my Robins and all the Batmans who come after
If you
me.
had to make good with one of the villains, though, like you have to be like you have to interact
Harley
with them.
fucking Quinn, my guy.
Harley Quinn?
Harley Quinn would be my gal.
She would love
Harley
you.
Quinn would love me.
You would be
And
her little
by
sister.
Proxy, by proxy, fucking Ivy.
You have Joker protection, and you think the Joker's gonna kill you?
Oh no, we're thinking like modern Harley Quinn.
Okay.
She dumped that bitch.
She dumped that jackass. No. By proxy, Ivy would tolerate me because Harley would love me so fucking much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be protected by two of the baddest chicks in Gotham.
Hell yeah.
Best case scenario in the worst universe.
What's your apartment looking like?
Oh my
Drab.
god.
It's Gotham. I'd assume like rates are low, but only for like the worst of worst.
Maybe like a few bullet holes that I can't afford to fix.
All the wallpaper's mismatched.
Yeah.
Bars on the windows,
Yeah.
just for your safety.
Yeah.
The
bars
nice
on my window.
red glow of neon lights permeate the windows constantly.
I would probably live in an apartment above the bar, so I don't have that long of a commute.
Oh, that's
the
smart.
Grocery store would be like
Your
down
carbon
the
emissions
road.
would be very low.
Yeah.
The grocery store would be down the road. It never has any like the healthy food I need. But you know what? Fuck.
You go to the bodega
You
around
go
the
to
corner.
Poison Ivy. She can make veggies.
Yeah, but like fuck the food deserts. The food deserts must be horrible in Gotham. There
Oh,
must
yeah.
be like an actual grocery store would not survive in Gotham.
And you know who could make this whole place way better but doesn't?
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he could. And not Batman,
Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce
Wayne.
Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
Just Bruce Wayne.
He is too concerned being a vigilante. He does not care about the philanthropy of the city
Well,
at all.
modern day Bruce Wayne doesn't care about the philanthropy, but like in the comics, he's very philanthropic.
Giving. He's giving.
He's very giving.
Well, he could give more. I'm just saying.
He could
Yeah,
give a
he
lot
could.
more.
Instead
like
of
for
spending the
someone-
billions on the fast cars that shoot rockets.
Yeah, like that 100. Yeah, absolutely. Like
You know what?
that's something that does have to be discussed more.
You know what it really reminds me of? It reminds me of Bezos going to space.
Yeah.
It's like you could feed all of your employees and give them raises, but nope. I just want to play spaceman.
We're gonna have a dick measuring contest in space.
Look at me, I'm Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
Jeff
Well,
Bezos.
he wishes. Buzz Lightyear has a heart of gold. Okay, first off.
All right, Brody. Let's
Right,
turn this leaf over from the bad,
Worst to good.
the worst to good.
And this is just like the world I always loved. It's the world of Avatar.
Yes.
If you were thinking about blue
Avatar,
aliens,
which one? Avatar.
you know which one I'm talking about. If you're thinking blue aliens, we're not friends. If I say
Just had to
Avatar,
clear.
you don't think
Had to
Airbender.
clarify.
So like we are friends, but when you first told me Avatar, the first thing I thought was blue aliens
Well,
because I actually would really like to live on Pandora.
that would be cool, but that's not what I want.
I know.
I know. But anyways,
Yes.
I would be Earthbender, which probably means I'd be living in the Earth Kingdom.
Can you tell me about the Earth Kingdom? I'm sorry.
So Earth Kingdom is very much based off of China. Just like
Okay.
ancient China.
I have the picture
And
now.
there's two main cities I figured I would want to live in. The first one being Ba Sing Se, which is a city surrounded by walls and is very much like a classist sort of area, which goes into my next one.
Is that the one where they had that festival thingy?
Festival thingy?
Never mind.
No, that's another place. It's,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
it's some-
I'm not trying to derail.
Some
I
sticks
just.
town, but
Okay. Sorry.
Ba Sing Se though,
You
like,
know the episode I'm talking about, though.
Ba Sing Se is like the Avatar equivalent of like Gotham, where it's like there's definitely some conspiracy shit going on that I don't want a part of.
Yeah.
So my second one would be Omashu. Omashu being the place that's like where all the slides are. And I recently got, and like their big like shtick is they have these giant slides with like stone crates for all their like parcels and mail and stuff like that, so they can earthbend them up or they can just let them slide down.
Oh,
And-
so you traverse the city with your earthbending.
You traverse the city
Oh,
with earthbending.
I love that.
The whole like city looks like a big upside down cone with the big crown. If I could just like live a life of managing like the parcels and packages that go around Omashu, it would be dope. And yes, I would use the
But
super
yeah,
slide.
you could use your powers to deliver your packages really quickly.
Yeah, it'd
That would be
like-
so dope. I love
I would
it.
just I would yeet them around town. It would be awesome. My cabbages.
What would you do? What would you do for fun there?
Throw it.
What would I do for fun in Omashu?
Yeah.
Oh
What's
my
your
God.
weekend like there? We know what your day-to-day, you're doing packages. What's your weekend like?
Well, I would be very tempted to go down the slides.
Yeah.
That's what I would do all day, every day.
Like, how are people not every day going down those goddamn slides?
Right? Like, screw the soldiers who were there to monitor everything. Like, how, I'd just be, like, pushing them along.
I'm sure, like, whatever's, like, the invention of the skateboard must have happened in Omashu in that world.
No, they air surf.
That's right, they do that. They got the little air tops.
Yeah,
They got the spinny ball.
The
and
spinny
they're on
ball
there.
thingies. They do air surf.
But I'm just saying, like, for non-benders, if they want to have, like, if they
They
just
do
wanted
hang
to
glide.
have that, they can. They
kinda-
can.
They kind
Air-
of.
Well, you can-
airbending
you-
also helps
you can
that, but
be
like
a bender,
someone's
it.
if they can like make a submarine and like factories
They
and
do.
stuff in the future, they're probably gonna make a skateboard.
They do have
Yeah.
submarines.
Yeah, they do. So they're probably gonna make a skateboard.
Yeah, it's just like a cart, and you just take off the other things and you stand on it. They
Yeah.
would have come to the conclusion.
It
You
was-
don't have. Yeah, you don't
yeah.
have to.
It was invented in 1959 by Marty McFly.
I was
Everyone
just gonna
knows that.
say Marty McFly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But no, like I wouldn't really do that. I tried skateboarding when I was young, but
I'm not good at it either.
I was
just,
a big
No,
kid who
you
fell
would just,
down,
like,
and everyone would laugh at me and
Earth
stuff,
Aw.
and I just didn't want to do that.
I wouldn't have laughed at you.
I could see you earth surfing. Though.
I could earth surf.
Like top
Yeah.
earth surfs all the fucking
Cowabunga,
time.
bro. Anyways, but Omashu just seemed like a better place to like be. It seems like a good city. It seems very nice. The king is a riot. King Boomy.
Well, you know what's great though too is the way you describe the city. Fun fact: Brody has a detest for cars in general. I know we've discussed it a little bit.
It's not that I don't like them. I just don't have one.
You don't need one.
I was,
Everybody needs
before
one.
this,
but,
I was in Greensboro, North Carolina, and that was a
but
place where you
Brody's
don't really need
Brody's
too much
still
of
a walker. Like even if Brody had a car, I guarantee you Brody would be like, I'm gonna walk today. It's
Well, I'm
nice
just saying.
weather."
depending
Yeah.
on-
Yeah, no,
depending
if
on-
there's still an area where I can still walk everywhere I need to go.
Yeah.
Like, it's just nice. More people should just, like, put on some headphones, listen to a podcast, probably this one,
Yeah.
and just walk around more often.
Yeah, I agree with that absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So is that
You painted a wonderful picture.
So that's nice. Just trying to think of anything more I would like to say about that. And I would
What's
like
the
to-
food like there? Do we know? Is it touched on the show?
Probably, like, some crazy meats, because, like, every animal is a combination of two
Combination.
things.
They
Like a
freaked
cow
out.
pig. I'd eat a
No,
cow
they
pig.
freaked out.
I'd
when
eat
they
a cow
had
pig,
normal
too.
ass bear.
Yeah, it's just like a platypus bear?
No, just his bear.
Yeah, and
What
it's
do
just
you
like
mean by
bear.
this
It's like, that's
Dude,
freaky.
just a bear.
I love
yeah,
it.
No,
It's a
they
bear.
had little- yeah.
You would have gotten that if you watched all of Midsommar. It's a bear.
Yeah. Well,
Alright.
we'll get to that. Well, maybe I'll have to watch Midsommar together. We can
Yeah.
do a breakdown of it.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Well, it's one of those movies. Like, I'm sorry to bring it up again, but like, it's just so good. It's just so good. Thank you,
anyways,
Ari
that's-
Aster.
I need
But anyways, yeah, that's just like my what I feel would be my best translated circumstance over to Earth Kingdom, living in Omashu, and just living a pretty casual life.
I love it. It sounds delightful. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing wrong with having a simple existence.
Also, like I brought up before, like Ba Sing Se, crazy place full of conspiracies. It's basically like a quiet military state.
Okay.
Like when the gang goes over and visits, they're visited by the tour guide. I forget her name. I want to say it's like Julie or something. No, it wasn't Julie. Julie did the thing. It was someone else, but basically it's just like this woman who's just in like a straight up trance, who's just like, there's nothing bad going on in Ba Sing Se.
So
There's
like
no
North
war."
Korea.
Yeah. There's no conflict in the world. Everything is okay when you're in Ba Sing Se. And it's just like creepy.
Yeah, I get that. I feel that. It major North Korean vibes.
So, okay. That's your best, Brody. We
Okay.
covered my worst. So what universe would you absolutely, not quite detest, but hate?
Well, something that is just like a miserable existence.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Something that would make your existence so miserable.
I kind of hinted at it when I was talking about walled cities.
You did, yeah.
Attack on Titan.
Oh,
Yes.
Lord.
Horrible, miserable place to live.
Lord, have mercy.
I forget the name of the actual like place behind the walls. I know there's Wall Maria, there's Wall Rose, and there's Wall Cena. Is there like an actual?
John Cena.
John Cena.
I think it's Parody. I think it's called
Parody.
Parody. The island
That's-
is Parody.
Yeah, that's right. The island is Parody.
Yeah, I can't remember what the name of the city is, and I don't know if it's been explicitly said.
And I remember Shiganshina is the name of the place that got by the big guy.
Yeah.
And it's
Where
actually,
that's where Aaron's from.
Ooh.
I'm just gonna say real quick. I know like this. We have a good rhetoric about like fuck you spoilers. This is actually a really good twist in the show that I would really recommend anyone. Not spoilers, but like I would really recommend like you figuring this out for yourself if you haven't already in Attack on Titan.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we realized that the walled cities that we know was supposed to be the last little sanctuary of humanity after supposedly everyone else got eaten by these giant humanoid monsters known as the Titans. It's not. There are other civilizations outside of the wall, across the sea, and it's just the world. Like there's Africa, there's Japan, there's all
multiple
these
races, creeds, cultures.
Are there, Titans in there?
So
no.
Here's the thing about that. So
hold on, what?
Oh yeah. So sorry,
Titans
Rose.
are just in this area.
He's about to touch
Rose,
on it right
you ready
now.
to get your mind blown?
It's very
my mind.
blood. We'll say blood specific.
So let's go back. There was an empire of a race of people known as Eldians, and I think the story is they made a deal with the devil to have Ymir turn into this Titan power woman.
They don't know how it happened, but it did.
Deal with the devil is what I've heard, but that could easily be propaganda.
What?
Yeah.
So all the Eldian Empire became the strongest empire in the world using Titan power until the people of Marley kind of like beat them back onto one single island known as Parody. I shouldn't say they were all beaten back.
They didn't beat them back. It was like the king at the time made a deal with them. Like, look, I'll wall up everybody. You'll never see us again. Like, we'll alter everybody's memory. Right. And that's what the king did to keep peace, was just pretty much brainwash an entire civilization of Eldians into thinking that there is no world outside of the walls.
Yeah.
Titans will kill you.
So there's two main...
There is no war in Ba Sing Se.
I was just talking about that. So there's two main civilizations in this world that are really worth focusing on. The first one is the island of Parody, which is all this walled city where if I were to live there, I would just be an ignorant person living under a government that is so uninforming to me that I don't know that I'm living on a whole other planet of people.
They're horribly corrupt. It's pretty much run by a council. They have a farce king. He just sits there as a figurehead, but it's really just run by a council of higher-ups.
And all the police around me are complete abusers of power. They're drunk all day and just
because Titans hadn't appeared for about 15 or 20 years, right?
Until that day.
Until that one magical day.
And then I just get...
Where our story begins.
And then I get everything fucking wrecked by the Colossal and the Armored Titan. And...
There's an Armored Titan?
Yeah, he bashes through the wall.
There are 7 super-powered Titans.
Yes.
That the power can be transferred from one Eldian to another. But you have to have Eldian blood.
And that transitions me to Marley, where they've made sort of these Eldian ghettos. And
yes.
If you want to get out, you need special permits. You have to wear an armband that shows that you are Eldian. And you can immediately see
drawing a lot of parallels. Yeah, drawing a lot of parallels.
And they just treat Eldians like less than human.
God.
Oh, you are just freaking out.
My mind, man. I knew Attack on Titan was bad. That's the reason why I didn't watch it. I didn't know it was
Oh, it's not bad. It's good.
Rose is curled up right now.
It is
disheveled.
so bad. It's good.
Brody, do you want to share a little bit about your own heritage and why this thing's so true to home for you?
Oh yeah, so I'm Jewish, so it wouldn't have been great knowing that
Eldian.
So that's the whole reason why I picked this one, because it touches on the very real, disgusting part of human history that is cultural, just trying to eliminate a culture, ethnic cleansing.
And
Jewish people were definitely a victim of that. And I'd imagine Holocaust. I'd imagine that, like, there's so many groups of people that if you were to translate their life to how things are, they would be Eldian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Indigenous Americans, Jewish people.
Japanese Americans.
Yeah.
Oh, Beth, shout out to my fellow Armenians out there.
Mm-hmm. Armenian, yeah, that's another person that would have been sort of blocked off as Eldian in this sort of world.
Yeah. Parody and I are in the same boat.
Yeah. Jess, you're good.
Yeah. I'm like super white.
I'm just going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say you wouldn't be Marleyan. You'd probably just be in some other country.
My people are, they were English and Norwegian farmers, so I might have been Marleyan. I have no idea.
Well, I'm just going to...
We're just going to ship Jess off to the best fucking...
Yeah,
We were farmers, man. My people were just farming. We didn't have time for all this stuff, rich people shit. We were farming.
But here's another very ugly part of the whole Eldian-Marleyan conflict.
Oh, no.
So, I mentioned the Armored and the Colossal Titan, and Jess mentioned that there were more.
Are we talking about Warhammer?
We're talking about all of them.
Yeah,
So there's a bunch of other Titans.
Oh, Lord.
There's 7, I believe. 7.
Yeah. Who are able to,
like the 7 deadly sins?
No. I mean... I haven't thought about it that much.
That could be a good parallel.
You could connect it if you wanted to.
I don't think there's a one-to-one, but there is...
That was an anime reference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That show sucks. But anyways...
I'm sorry, people that like it. I know it's very popular.
Cut that out.
No, don't cut it out. It's your personal opinion.
I'll do whatever.
No.
Yeah, Brody.
I'll keep it in, but not because you told me to.
Okay.
So... let me discuss what Titans actually are.
Yes.
Okay, yes, please.
Eldians have the ability to become Titans.
So...
But it's not just like a trait that they have. You do have to be injected with Titan serum.
Yeah, specifically...
It's like spinal fluid or something.
Spinal fluid into your system turns you into the big dumb Titan that you were probably familiar with.
Yeah, if you're an Eldian.
The giant
You should see
freak
the look
thing.
on my face right now.
It is terrified.
I hate every aspect of this.
So instead of like giving Eldians the death sentence, they ship them off to Parody and turn them into these dumb, murderous monsters.
They literally inject them with the serum and push them over a wall and run. Like, you're run free.
Oh my god.
Rose is not okay.
I am not okay with this. Like, all the fucking parallels.
Yeah.
All the parallels.
However,
it's a really good show.
Here's the really worst part.
Okay.
There are some Eldians who can turn into Marleyan warriors. And these are the Colossal Titan, the Armored Titan, who are people who are part of Marley's military to destroy more Eldians, even though they are Eldians.
Yeah, it's like a way for them to enhance their status in life.
Yeah, if you
they're also brainwashed as well.
If
though,
you are an Eldian who becomes a Marleyan warrior, you are an honorary Marleyan.
But you're still an Eldian. Like, you're not.
You're an Eldian, but you're not treated like one, and neither is your family.
Yeah, exactly. So it helps improve your status, but mostly that of your family.
So the best case scenario for my life, I would either be some dumb schmuck who's under a tyrant control in a walled-off city, completely secluded from all the rest of the world, or I would live under constant just threats of death from...
Yeah, and I was going to ask you, what do you think would be better? Because, like, at least on one hand, like, if you're a Marleyan, at least you have a grasp of what the real world is, whether or not it's good. If you live in Parody, you've had a sweet run for a while with no Titan existence. It's bliss. I mean, it could be whatever you wanted to be.
No, I have a legitimate question. Can you get out of Parody?
People have tried, but...
The forests are filled with Titans. They're filled with Titans.
No, it's okay. So, theoretically then, the rest of the world is out there.
I guess it's also, we didn't mention that Parody in general is like decades and decades behind in technology compared to the rest of the world.
Oh, yeah.
That's also something we didn't mention. I mean, they have the Omni gear, which is amazing. Which,
Wait, so how come nobody said hello? How come nobody's gone
One person
out?
said hello, and that was the Colossal Titan bashing the walls down.
No. How come
Oh, I guess we
somebody
also
out there?
didn't mention like the mineral that all the rare natural resources
Oh,
on
yeah,
Parody
here's
that
an-
they use to function the Omni gear.
Yeah, here's another real-world parallel.
Yeah.
The only reason why someone sent a Colossal Titan over is because Parody has a big stock of the mineral.
Well, they sent the Colossal Titan over because they need to get the Founding Titan back from Aaron.
Right. And they really
But
just want...
but other countries are interested specifically because of the raw resources. That
Yes.
it's so rare, it only exists on this island.
Mm-hmm.
So why has no
We really
other
love Attack on
country-
Titan here.
It's so good.
It's
Why
so good.
does- At least you like it.
Mhm.
Obviously I know nothing.
Oh, and
about
the
it.
animation is
No.
so good.
How come no other country? Because you said
Right.
that there was Africa, there was Japan, there were other countries, other peoples out there.
I mean, it's
How come if this group is like centuries behind in technology, no one's just come over in a fucking airplane and said hello?
Because
Kill
there are Titans
all
there.
the
there's Titans
No,
everywhere.
Just like go and kill them
It's a multi
It takes one nuke.
country treaty.
They
No.
would nuke everyone.
They don't have nukes though.
They don't
They
have
have
nukes.
steampunk technology. They don't have nukes.
Steam nuke.
Well,
They fight all their wars with Titans. I mean, you know like Howl's Moving Castle?
Yeah.
They're like that level.
okay.
The main city there, like the cool like tech steampunk, like it seems really futuristic but yet simple. That's what they're dealing with in Marley, and it's even more regressed in Parody. We're not talking about nukes. They don't have that kind of technology.
But I think
Look, I'm just saying, like, how come, like, if they're using Titans to fight each other, well, how come nobody from another country has said, okay, both of you are being fucking dumb as shit?
Well, no one's gonna ever.
no one wants to touch that.
No one's gonna. First start anything with Marley because they have the Warhammer Titan.
Oh
They
yeah,
have-
it's worth mentioning that Marley is like the empirical center ground.
Absolutely,
for the world.
they have
Like,
the biggest stick. Okay?
They're the hi hat.
Yeah,
Speak softly, walk with a big stick.
they've got the big
Yeah.
stick, and they're not speaking softly. Like they've got the big stick.
They got 7 big sticks.
Yeah. Well, I believe during the conflict in the 4th season, they have 3 Titans.
Oh my god.
3 to 4.
3 to 4.
They have the
fourth one
cart.
gets lost.
They had the
Oh my
jaw.
God.
Yeah,
They have the Warhammer.
a lot
and-
of sticks.
But then we've got, look, you guys really need to watch the
So you
show.
don't-
It
but
would be a
basically, like,
terrible
you-
place to
You don't
exist.
fuck with Parody because the people of Marley would be mad.
So, okay, going back to our original point, though.
They also don't perceive them as a threat. Also, side note, the reason that people did not attack Parody is because the walls are filled with crystallized titans, and they said that if
yes.
anyone ever attacked them, I will awake these titans and we will get you.
That's the last resort.
Yeah, so they have an idol, they have a threat in the back pocket, and it was like, look, we're just gonna leave them alone.
I still
All
don't
right.
know how season 4 ends.
I don't either.
I'm
We
just.
don't.
I'm only caught up with the show, but me and Jess are very much anticipating Attack on Titan the end of season 4, and we'll catch Rose up on the end and see if she
Yeah,
can
well,
stop
We'll
it.
catch everybody up.
Well,
And I know we
Rose
derailed a
will
little
watch
bit,
it.
but honestly, you guys just gotta watch Attack on
Rose will
Titan
not
if you
watch
haven't done
but,
it.
Like, okay, guys.
Yeah, no.
So
Attack on
what-
Titan, horrible existence, and
So,
I would
what
never
would
want
your-
to touch
so,
that.
Just kind of wrap it up in a big bowl. Your day-to-day life, best case scenario, best and worst case scenario for you.
Okay, worst case scenario, I am living in the alien ghetto and I just get the shit knocked out of me every day.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, I live ignorantly in a walled city and I just farm.
Okay.
Until the
Neither-
Titans show back up
Until
and then
a
it's
Titan
chaos.
shows up, or military police kills me, or some other bullshit that happens because everything in this world is
Or
terrible.
they commandeer your farm so like the scouts can just use it to plan the next Titan attack.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, speaking of differences between timelines or points in time, my best case,
Yeah,
best
let's
universe-
refresh things. Things have been a little drab with Nazi parallels and genocide.
Yeah. Let's move on to some good
Let's
things.
get some good stuff going.
Absolutely.
Back to the
I
good
have
worlds.
3 points in time that I
Okay.
could cover. The best world I would love to live in is called Percy Jackson.
Absolutely.
And if you don't know it, it's shortened, it's just Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief.
Percy
so
Jackson,
you're
the
covering
Lightning Thief.
the universe of Greek and Roman demigods, Egyptian mythology with
Mhm.
the Egyptian magicians, on top of the Norse mythology as well. You've got
Yes.
Norse dead demigods, like the soldiers of Valhalla and all this other stuff.
Oh, druggers.
Ooh, yeah, they're...
Yeah, oh my god, they're awesome.
But just like where mythology is real and...
The Greeks have lots of kids because they always having fucking sex.
Hell yeah.
So
that's their thing.
That's their thing.
Read any mythology book. That's totally a god thing.
80% of it is Zeus can't keep it in his pants. The other 10% is Hera being a fucking obnoxious bitch because she's jealous that Zeus is going and sleeping with all these other women.
Can we just talk about like mythology? Those guys would fuck anything.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
The guy would fuck a rock.
Yeah, literally.
You know, I bet there are a lot of men and women that would too, though, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, like, back in the day, it's just, like, there's so much, like, you could really experiment with.
And no one will know.
Yeah, what happens if I fuck this tree?
Well, let's find out.
Oh, well, there's a nymph for you.
And that's how Apollo was born or something.
No, Apollo's creation is a little bit different.
Gaia, Mother Earth.
Who did someone fuck to make Apollo?
Yeah, Gaia.
Yeah.
Someone fucked a tree and then Earth came into existence.
But, okay, so 3 points, though.
Okay.
Before Percy Jackson shows up to camp, it would be boring as hell, because nobody's really doing anything.
What's camp?
Oh, shit. Let me explain that.
Oh, yeah, why does Percy Jackson go to this camp?
Alright, so I have ADHD, I'm dyslexic. This is a topic near and dear to my heart. So if you are ADHD or dyslexic, or both, you have a high chance of being a demigod, which is a child of a mortal and a child, like, half mortal, half god. So your godly parent had sex with a person, like a regular person.
In Percy Jackson's case, his father is Poseidon,
right?
And his mother is a mortal woman.
Yeah. So there is a specific camp on the east and the west coast where you send these kids to go and learn how to fight, because all the monsters, like the gods are real, sure as shit, all the monsters are too.
Yeah.
And all these monsters are trying to kill all the demigod kids, because if they can, like, weaken the gods' hold on Earth, they can basically overrun and take it over, and hopefully one of the points is to, like, take over Mount Olympus and overrun the gods. So
just like Hercules.
Yeah,
the
so
Disney movie.
And Percy Jackson goes to this camp.
Yeah, to save the kids, keep them safe, you send them to one of two camps, which is Camp Half-Blood or Camp Jupiter, to train them up. And Camp Half-Blood is for the Greeks. Camp Jupiter is for the Romans. They don't intermingle for a while because they would end up killing each other.
Why would they end up killing each other?
Because the Greeks and Romans historically hated each other until Pax Romana, or the 100 Years of Peace.
Okay.
Or I know I butchered the pronunciation. Internet, shut up.
So you mentioned that having dyslexia and ADHD was a big part of...
Yes, that's actually... So, I apologize for it, Uncle Rick, but Rick Riordan is the author of the book series, and his son and a lot of his kids, because he was a teacher for years and years on end, had ADHD and dyslexia, but had very little media to legitimately connect with on a personal level. So he's like, all right, my son loves Greek mythology. What if I made a character kind of sort of based around Greek mythology that kids could relate to on a level? Or that struggle, that intensity, how you feel going through being in middle school with ADHD and dyslexia. Right? So that's how I connect to it. And in the story, in the canon, the Percy Jackson canon, like, your brain, if you're dyslexic, your brain is wired to either read Greek or Roman, depending on which, like, version of the god. Like, Apollo is the same in both Roman and Greek mythology. But if he was his Roman counterpart, or, like, his Roman version that day, then you would be, like, your brain would be hardwired to read Latin.
Right.
If he was Greek, your brain would be hardwired to read Greek. I mentioned Apollo because that would probably be who my godly parent is.
So, just generally, like, just to understand the rules of Percy Jackson, not only is Greek mythology real, but and the thing that I noticed between characters, like the teacher was in the wheelchair and Grover, who was seemingly, he used crutches to walk. It's sort of turning the idea that what people really refer to as disabilities are in the Greek and Roman world.
Chiron, the guy in the wheelchair.
Your special abilities.
Yeah, special abilities.
Chiron is a fucking centaur.
Yeah.
He's great. I love Chiron.
He just fits it all in one wheelchair.
Like, I love and hate him. I have personal reasons for hating him. We'll get to it in another day.
What would life be like in this universe for you?
So for me, okay, my godly parent would probably either be Dionysus, Apollo, Hermes, or some unclaimed god. And I would spend my summers at the summer camp, which is up in the East Coast, because that's where we are.
Yep.
And it would be, yeah, I would spend my summers there for a few years, and then I would probably just turn, like, once Percy, like, I would probably be there longer before Percy Jackson comes in. Once Percy comes in, I'd probably become a year-rounder, because shit goes down real quick, because there is this big prophecy that in, like, around World War II, the big three, quote-unquote, Poseidon, Zeus, and Hades, said, all right, we're not going to have kids, because we don't want to trigger some, like, big old prophecy.
And then they kept that promise, and that's the end of the story.
No, Hades, that is unfair. Hades kept his promise. Zeus tried to kill his kids, but Hades is like, nope, I'm putting them, storing them away. They're going to be safe for several, couple of decades. About 7 years later, both Zeus and Poseidon break that pact and have kids. One turns into a tree for a hot minute.
Interesting.
And the other one...
Per our last discussion.
Yeah.
Oh, God, no. Oh, fuck. Oh.
Like, that checks out. Moving on.
That's wrong on so many levels.
Is it? I don't know. Continue.
So, one gets turned into a tree for a hot minute, and then Percy, who is Poseidon... I have to explain this, otherwise you wouldn't understand it. Percy is like the son of Poseidon. He doesn't know until Grover... who,
I forget what the name of the mythical creature he is. He's like goat on the bottom.
Yeah,
and he's got like the ears. It's like the same guy from like Narnia.
Yeah. But that's what Grover is. Grover comes over and he's like, oh,
Like
yeah.
Phil from Hercules, Danny DeVito.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah,
Nice.
they're
Or like Pan, the goat god. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
They look for Pan.
Yeah.
Not important.
The name is escaping me, but I'm sure people have a vivid idea.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So Grover's like, you're a demigod, we have to go to camp. And so because I'm one of the older kids, I probably start going, oh shit, we've got 2 kids of the big 3 here. Prophecy's probably gearing up to get ready. I'd probably send like a letter to my family like, look, I have an obligation to camp. I can't let these like 5, 6, 7-year-olds run around unattended with sharp and pointy objects anymore. I'm gonna go and be one of the oldest campers.
I have a question though, because we haven't really touched on this, and I don't know anything about Percy Jackson. But what is life at camp actually like? Because you mentioned it a lot, and
you would like just run around. It's basically a summer camp, except with a lot more pointy and sharp objects.
Like they're like the big thing that I took away from the first book was the capture the flag moment.
Yeah, they have. So, like I said, to train them, it's basically a training camp for kids. To like learn how to fight monsters
and protect the world.
And protect the world,
Okay.
protect themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sorry if that wasn't clear.
Yeah.
No.
So it's like very much like your usual happy time summer camp.
Yeah, because I feel like people like either like you know who Percy Jackson like the series and you're like extremely fond of it, and then or you just know absolutely nothing about it at all.
Well,
I feel like there's
really
not a
get
big gray area.
Well, the movies aren't gonna help.
No, don't watch the movie.
I'm not going
Read the
to.
books.
Read the books. I'm sorry, I don't want to get too much into the plot of it though, so I'm trying to avoid that, and I apologize if I miss some details. But yeah, it's this general like stereotypical summer camp, except with like a lot more sharp and pointy objects, like I've said a few times. And you just train to be a warrior.
What's your life like when you're done with camp? Are you done with camp? Is it like an age progression thing, or do you graduate just based on your skills?
No, you actually age out of camp when you turn 18, because the reason why you would send a kid who's like 5 to 7 years old to camp is because that's when monsters, one way to find them, these kids, is like by their demigod scent, quote unquote. So I would probably get attacked when I was about 7 years old, because I'm a child of either Apollo or Dionysus, and a monster would be like, oh, you smell of God, I'm going to try to kill you. End up getting, saved by...
That's my scent, by the way. Smell of God.
Yeah.
It's also your stripper name.
Yeah. Calvin Klein, Smell of God.
Yes.
Like, that's, you have this demigod scent, basically.
Okay.
And monsters
cool.
will track you down based on that scent, and that's kind of how creatures like Grover will find you. Is like if you get attacked a few times by monsters, they follow the monsters. They try to get you before.
Now, are you a warrior for your whole life? Like, what do these people do with their lives? Like, what does life as a demigod at 40 look like?
I mean, hopefully you just reintegrate yourself back into normal society, because once you hit 18, monsters really don't give a fuck about you. Because that's when your scent really fades away and you kind of smell more like a normal mortal. And if you don't use your powers, you can actually avoid...
If you don't use it, you lose it?
No, they fade out. Like, the strength of your powers for some demigods, depending on, like, what power you got from your dad. All of the main characters in Percy Jackson is OP as
Is the power only passed down
from your demigod.
patriarchally? Or you get it, can you get, because you said from your dad.
Yeah, so it could be from your demigod parent, or, like, it could be from, like, your godly parents. So there is an Aphrodite and an Athena cabin. So it could be your mother.
Oh, they separate you in cabins by who your parent is?
Yeah, which
That's
is
cute.
bullshit. Like, Percy Jackson, when he gets there, is like, I'm all alone in the Poseidon cabin. This is bullshit.
Poseidon was really selective.
That's actually a real thing. He was like, he only really loved one woman.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
He's a good
Aw,
guy.
I love
Poseidon
that.
fella.
That's so nice.
He's done some things that are a little fishy.
Hades.
Hey. But no, you gotta respect him for having a true love.
He's not like a Mr. Nimbus, is what we're saying.
No,
he's
that
not
guy
like Apollo.
sucks.
Apollo has like 15.
You think Mr.
cameras.
Nimbus sucks?
Yeah, he's lame.
He controls
Yes.
the police.
Athena, Aphrodite, Apollo. Who else has?
So,
the most?
what would your power be
Hermes.
that you inherit from your god parent? Not your godparent, but your god of a parent.
If it's Apollo, I'd probably be like a decent healer.
All right.
Maybe like I'd be shit at archery and can't sing a tune for my life, but I could be a decent
Oh,
healer.
there's bards in Percy Jackson?
Yes, you can sing. Like, the one of the most important, his name is Will Solus. The one of the most important children of Apollo can't fucking sing to save his life. Legitimately.
Is he supposed to be able to?
No! Well,
Oh.
yes, because he's the son of Apollo. He's supposed to sing.
Mhm.
But his sister, like his younger sister Kayla Knowles, I believe is her name, she can sing like hell. Like, oh my god,
Yeah.
her voice is awesome. But there is another character. She's a daughter of Aphrodite. Her name is... Oh my god, she's one of those.
You would know more than me.
Piper McLean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Piper can like sing, and she has like, so Aphrodite has charm speak, and basically like I just heavily influence your decision. Like if I suggest, hey Jess, go throw out your beer.
I'm going to leave it in this room for 2 days.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't do that.
But not
You'd
because
go
you told
throw
me
it
to.
out.
Yeah, but not because you told me to. No, I probably will. I mean, I don't know. I'm not like a...
No, like if, like I could. It's full, right? I mean,
No. Oh, yeah, it is. Good call. I'm
yeah,
gonna drink
that's
some
fine.
right
'Cause
now.
I've noticed that you haven't been drinking. That's why I pointed it out. Like if I heavily suggested you go throw out your beer, because I'm a daughter of Aphrodite in this case scenario, you would go and do it. Because charm speak is a part of like Aphrodite's thing.
I have to ask, and I know this isn't 100% on
hate
topic,
to
but
be-
how did they fuck up the movie so much? Because this sounds like it
So
could
they
have been like
tried.
Okay.
a really, really good
They-
YA series for people.
So
I have to ask. Like,
the directors didn't read the book. They didn't let Reardon.
did the directors not read it, or did the scriptwriter not read
No one
it?
read it.
They didn't do the homework.
No one read it, and Reardon was not involved in any way, shape, or form.
Well, that's disappointing. 'Cause
And
it sounds
so-
really cool. I know nothing about it.
Like that, like Disney. I was going to mention this at the very end, but Disney is doing a mini series on Disney Plus where
Which-
Reardon is.
Oh, I might
leading-
actually check that out. Actually,
Yeah, no, Reardon
yeah.
is like leading the charge on this.
Get hyped, 2000 kids. Percy Jackson's coming back, and
I'm
Whoop, whoop.
so
Hopefully
fucking
better.
excited. Also, the author neglects to acknowledge the existence of the movies because he's like, yeah, no, they don't exist.
But my
there
paycheck
are
I got
no
from it
movies
does.
in Boston say.
These are not the movies you were looking for.
Yeah.
But no, like for me, I'd be a decent healer.
Okay.
As a child of a
I think that would be your dynamic anyways, like if we were playing World of Warcraft or something. Like I feel like a healer would be
You're
like your dynamic
support.
your support 100% and like a strategy.
But
absolutely.
Like, with Dionysus being the god of insanity, there are a few characters who I'd just be like, oh no. I want all your insanity powers down.
Do they inherit insanity powers?
Yeah, they can.
What do you mean by insanity powers?
Yeah, like
so basically Dionysus, he is the god of wine, but he's also the god of insanity.
Oh, Dionysus is also in True Blood.
He's the party boy. He's the
party
party
boy,
Thor.
But he can drive you insane.
Yeah.
But he can also take, like...
You know, I'm only familiar with Dionysus because of True Blood. The first season, the whole arc is Dionysus comes to Bonton. We could talk about that more if anybody's interested. I would love to deep dive into True Blood.
Yes. But, like, if you were to go through a really traumatic event that basically almost drives you insane, I could heal your mind to the point before... That's what I'm talking about when I say insanity powers.
I wish you did.
I would be a therapist.
Yeah,
that'd be so nice.
You would be a great therapist
too.
Yeah,
you would be like award-winning therapist if you can just like erase trauma from people.
Just like
you
enjoy your life.
Can't compete.
Wave your hand.
I can heal your mind, yes,
yeah.
but it's still a form of therapy.
So you said your specific type of disability, if you have one, determines if you're a demigod or not. And you said how do you determine who you're born from again?
Your parent, for my case, it
like
would
how
be
you know it would be those two.
So it would basically, everyone stays, when you first get to camp, everyone stays in the Hermes cabin because Hermes is also the god of travelers. So you're considered a quote-unquote traveler until you're claimed by your godly parent, but they do have certain...
So they just have to get claimed?
No, yes and no.
So there's
Yes, because one of the characters, his name is Nico, he's never quote-unquote properly claimed by his dad, but he's the son of Hades, everyone knows it.
Yeah, they have traits that are specific to that heritage.
Okay, I just didn't know if there was some X factor we hadn't discussed that determines who you are
go through
born
a certain
from.
number of trials. So it's like, for me, my excelled capabilities in healing would be the determining factor. Oh, hey, we've done archery, you're not good, you can't really sing, you don't really care about X, Y, and Z for all these other gods, but you're a really kick-ass healer. You would be Apollo, and then the final factor would be whether or not your godly parent claims you. Now, if you don't get claimed, you just kind of either end up being stuck in the Hermes cabin, because that's what happens to all the kids who don't get claimed. You're just Hermes. You're just shoved in the Hermes cabin, that's fine.
And Hermes is like, I didn't want them.
Hermes doesn't give a damn.
Whatever.
No, Hermes doesn't really give a damn.
Isn't it I think it was in the Booker movie, he runs UPS.
Yes!
No, that is hilarious.
That is legitimately in the books.
That is so funny.
The quest that Brody's talking about is in one of either the first or second book, and you need to go to Hermes and talk to him. And Hermes is only...
Why isn't this a video game?
Yes.
Why isn't this a
video game? Because that sounds like a great fetch quest, and I'm very particular about what...
There is. It's based off the movies.
Well, I want... I'm talking about a hardcore RPG right now.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you have...
Or MMORPG.
You have Hades.
It's not enough.
Yeah. No. I mean, you're painting such a beautiful world for me, but I think a video game would be the best medium for this kind of story.
I would like to see the miniseries.
Where you create your own identity with yourself. Like what we've been discussing. How would you exist in this world?
Yeah. That would be me. I would probably end up being a healer regardless.
Right.
It sounds wonderful.
Yes.
Well, I just really appreciate the whole aspect of being affirming people who've been told they're
different.
No, I love that because I have ADHD also and a learning disability in math, which in my younger life was a huge deterrent for me to get anything done. And my ADHD is still it's difficult for me to navigate personal relationships with people because I think I come off too strong and scatterbrained, which at this point I'm 32. I don't give a shit. You either like me or you don't. Yeah. I can't control my filter.
I feel like there's a lesson that Percy Jackson teaches that you don't really get until you're older. Like a lot of middle school people are like, they just like have a hard time being with themselves.
I said this.
It is hard. Well, you don't want to be yourself when you're a kid. You don't want to be who you are, and you're not comfortable with it.
It's like near and dear to my heart. Percy Jackson. If you read the first book, how he feels throughout the entirety of the first book, his anger, his frustration. I found that book at a point in my life where I was literally going through that same emotional roller coaster.
It's like,
and that book series really helped me even out and figure out, like, hey, first of all, I'm not the only one going through this. Secondly, it's written in a way where it's like really easy for me to relate to him. Later on, I love the series, but I can nitpick it all day long. Like, I love Chiron.
As you should. You should need to be critical of things that you enjoy.
Chiron,
if you love something, you can find some flaws in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have like my top 10 flaws for Percy Jackson.
Maybe we can do that for another
Welcome
day.
Back to
That
Watch
would be
Mojo.
interesting. Yeah.
Rosie's top 10 qualms with Percy
Jackson series.
Number 10, not enough Grover.
No, number 10, Chiron is a piece of ass.
We'll have a whole episode on that.
He's a fucking jackass.
He's like a smoke show. Like, what are we talking about here?
So he says that the Percy Jackson series, you have the final battle, and then Percy fucking disappears. I know this is me going on a fucking tangent.
Oh, I'm leaving this in.
Percy fucking disappears for a month or so, freaks out and sends everyone on a fucking witch hunt for him, and then backtrack like 2 books. Before that event happens, before the final battle, Nico D'Angelo, who's the son of Hades, he just lost his sister, he doesn't understand his powers, he wasn't claimed by his father, so he doesn't even know. He was just introduced to the whole world of being a demigod.
Can I just ask real quick, what are the Hades powers you get?
Yeah, because I'm feeling more connected to the Hades storyline.
Yes, hold on. No, this is why Nico freaks the fuck out. So he raises the dead, doesn't understand that it was him who raised the dead, freaks out at Percy, like, oh my gosh, you brought them back, because they get attacked by the skeletons before in the book. And Nico's like, oh my god,
who could have done this?
He legitimately doesn't understand. Nico fucking flakes out for several long months. And Chiron doesn't lift a goddamn finger. Because him and Dionysus are like, that's a child of Hades. Right then and there. When they see him raise the dead, they're like, oh, kid of Hades. Oh well.
It's like how everyone hates
Slytherins.
Slytherins.
It's a lost fucking cause. No,
and that makes no sense to me.
We're just not going to lift a finger to help. It's during the middle of a war. I'm sorry, you're in the middle of recovering from a fucking war, and you're going to spend every fucking resource you have to finding Percy Jackson, and you're not going to lift a finger to help Nico when he needed it the fucking most? I'm sorry, but that's just not how you run a camp.
I'm unfamiliar with a lot of that stuff, but I'm sure people who are listening are just as angry as you.
No, they're not.
They might be. You don't know that. If you're angry, comment below.
Yeah, or if you have some angry comments or some other worlds that you want to really live in or not live in, email us. We are still awaiting some viewer mail.
Yeah, you can email us whatever you want. Hate stuff, memes, send whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah, you could say we're cool. It'd be nice if you just, message us, say,
Where
hey.
can they send us this stuff?
If they want to send that, they can send it to oneframeoff@gmail.com. That's oneframeoff@gmail.com. That's correct.
All right, Jess. I'm getting off my goddamn high horse.
Yep.
I'm saving it for another day.
It was super entertaining. I learned a lot. Yeah, Trojan horse for sure.
Yeah, my Trojan.
And for those keeping track, that's the second pun.
Okay, so we've covered a lot here. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. I'm going to assume most people have seen Game of Thrones.
No.
All the cool people have.
Yeah.
All the cool people.
I know, it's like...
Rose ain't cool, apparently.
No, you're cool, but just not in the... You're a different kind of cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're Percy Jackson cool. You're not Game of Thrones cool.
Yeah, it's a different sect of people. Well, it was super popular. A lot of people watched it.
In its heyday, nothing could really compete with it.
I agree. Well, up until about the 4th season, it was like one of the best things I'd ever seen.
No, really?
Yeah, it was like it's super exciting. I think as a woman living in Westeros would have been, in general for everybody, it would have been terrible. Mm-hmm. But the terribleness is amplified what you got in between your legs. Or
Specific-
you don't, maybe, if you're, there's lots of eunuchs in Westeros as well.
Well, all the commoners seem to have a very set opinion on what a woman's role in the world is.
Yes.
And even the ones that see women in power, like, they still have those ideas.
Absolutely.
Can we explain what Westeros is, though?
Right.
So Westeros it's a sort of medieval world. Not that that's how it's booked, but it is and sold. But as a show, it's technically sci-fi.
There are zombies, so I guess that
It's technically sci-fi. I mean, what would fantasy sci-fi?
Let's just say high fantasy and keep it at that.
Yeah, for sure.
Zombies are fantasy. Why can't zombies be fantasy?
They are fantasy.
They are
but
fantasy.
We could talk all day about labels and genres.
Yeah, like it's magic science. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's an extremely fanciful yet realistic, like down to earth. Like it's weird how they've done it. Like they really did find a really good grounding between selling us this high fantasy world that also seems really tangible and grounded in like stuff that you've read in your history books at school or looked up on Wikipedia, I would say,
or just gone to a Ren fair.
Or gone to a Ren fair. Yeah, absolutely.
What's
It's super tangible.
Frame? Like what time period does this take place in?
It ain't real.
I can't give you a specific year that the story takes place
technology that exists is very medieval, but magic is used.
Medieval?
There's
medieval, but like end of magic, because like magic kind of like is fading out, right?
It is and it isn't. I mean, I feel like some people use it like if you want to talk about like wildfire and stuff too, I mean, like there's lots of widely used fanciful things that exist.
Yeah, like they're freaking out over the invention of the crossbow.
Yeah.
If that gives you a good frame of where we're at.
Okay. No, I was just curious because I know nothing about.
Dragons had exist wildly and were used by a certain family, which.
Right.
Which family?
The Targaryens.
Targaryens were considered like people who were masters of dragons, or sort of like
that they had dragon blood in their veins, and they could tame and ride dragons.
The Targaryens kind of like died off, and as did the dragons.
Well,
like,
they were hunted by Robert Baratheon to extinction.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Because that's just another example of humans being shitty.
Yeah, just another example of humans being shitty. They were hunted to extinction by Robert Baratheon. There were two. It's not super important as to why living there would suck, but it is an example. But that's explaining to you like the fantasy. So like dragons had wildly existed. They've been hunted to extinction along with the Targaryens for the most part. And where the show picks up, where we start watching it, I don't think it happens in the first episode, but we find some dragon eggs. So like there are fanciful creatures like that exist. There's giant dire wolves. That are magical in their own way.
Direwolves, yeah, like big puppies.
Giant big
Can
puppies.
I have one as a pet?
They're more of their like they choose to be with you.
Yeah,
Ooh,
you're their pet.
I could have a pet.
You're
like a cat then.
I think only the Starks. If you were a Stark, you might have had a chance. I think that was just like a special good omen for them that they came across and found those direwolves. Because there was one for each Stark child.
And including an albino for the bastard child.
Rob Snow. Jon Snow, sorry. Rob Stark is the brother. I apologize.
Yeah, Jon Snow.
We're all coming off this a few years from a few years ago, guys.
We've kind of learned to forget a few things about it.
Yeah.
What were you asking?
Is Snow a good guy?
Snow is the last name given
sort of
to
like
a bastard child.
He's like the protagonist.
In the North.
If you are a bastard child, you are given a name corresponding with the region.
Because I think it's sand in like the Dorne areas.
Yeah.
I would have to double check that.
And Snow being in the North.
The North. So if you're a bastard child in the North, you're given the last name Snow. So there's like Ramsay Snow and Jon Snow.
Which I gotta say, we gotta do for orphans here. That's cool.
I mean, orphans? Or like you could do it for like.
Well, I didn't want to call them bastards.
Calling them like John Doe.
No, but
Jon Snow, we found him in the snow.
Wouldn't that be cool? Like, if you were a bastard in North Carolina, what would your last name be?
I don't fucking know.
I would maybe Pine.
Yeah, or like Tar.
Tar. No, Tar is better.
Well, what's our
No, tobacco.
The Cardinal.
Cardinal?
Cardinal.
Yes,
Cardinal
the
would be
Cardinal.
cool.
Yeah, it might be Cardinal.
Yeah, I'd be Brody Cardinal.
I like that actually.
Ooh,
No, I'd be or Brody Tar. Brody Tar sounds like
Rose
someone you don't.
Cardinal. Ooh.
Brody
Rose
Tar sounds
Cardinal.
like the guy that's sitting at the
Cardinal.
bar.
Oh God,
Cardinal Rose.
the reddest person of the world. Cardinal Rose.
It's also worth mentioning Rose is wearing a checkered red and black sweater right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hold
like-
on, Jess. You gotta tell them what it reminds you of.
Gives me Freddy
Canada.
Krueger vibes.
I say Canada.
Aw.
Like
Yeah,
you go
not
to,
it.
this is the Canadian uniform, including the Minions pajama bottoms.
No- Oh, that's really fair. I was gonna say the Detroit uniform, but this works too.
Sorry, on my PJs it goes wow.
You know what's really ironic, and we didn't discuss this earlier? I'm wearing Harry Potter pajama pants right now.
I'm actually wearing an Eldian armband.
Yeah, he is. He came prepared today.
You really
I
did.
was prepared to be sad.
Look, we all came prepared.
Okay, so Westeros, it's a medieval place. It's not, it's not super important to get in this. But so this is I pulled up a map on the computer to show Rose.
Rose is pointing at
Essos.
Essos. That's where
That's like the Middle East.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's
where my
it's
family
like
would be
yeah,
chilling.
it's
I
yeah.
actually
You're
really like the whole story of what's her face going through the Middle East.
yeah, Daenerys.
Daenerys,
Yeah. That's a really good point in the show.
Mm-hmm.
My
Again,
people,
like it kind of goes back to the whole real sexism, where it's like you are a woman in control with dragons around you, and they're still like, you're just a woman. Shut your mouth.
Well, yeah, and it's worth mentioning, and I always get into fights with people at bars, especially when the show is at its peak, having a few beers. But like, Cersei is my favorite character in the show. I think she's one. Well,
isn't
George
she-
R.R. Martin in general writes women really well because he just writes them like men, which is
Wait.
not done enough by.
Wait, isn't Cersei? Hold on, the tiny bit of Game of Thrones knowledge. Isn't she the one who gets her head shaved? Has to do the walk of shame
Yeah.
with the dragon.
Uh-huh.
behind
Oh
her?
yeah, and the
Yeah.
shame.
It's all part of her
shame
long Kong. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
Cersei is good at making plans until she isn't.
You actually want to know a fun fact about that?
I do.
Apparently, in that scene where she had to be naked and go through the town and shame, she was I want to say like late months, but she was pregnant, and they had to really work around to hide that.
They I think they used a
wow.
body double for that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they used a body double for her because I think in general she wasn't super comfortable being nude on camera.
Yeah.
Which,
It's HBO though. Like.
well, so it's also worth mentioning too. Like if I've rewatched the whole season at least 2 or 3 times, just because I don't know, man. I'm a masochist.
Hate
Whatever.
yourself.
Yeah, I know. But before the budget really took off, where like you'll notice that the show's storyline in terms of action got a lot more exciting as the budget got bigger.
Yeah.
So that first season, what do you do to get people to watch a show they've never seen
You
before?
introduce incest in the first 15 minutes.
The incest makes sense in the story once you know the characters, and Jamie gets his arc, and
But
we're not
the
talking
first
about that today.
15 minutes.
It's not the end of it. It's probably about like around 45 minutes.
My point exactly though. The first episode, it follows the book because I read the first page, and the book first.
Just
page,
the first page.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna refrain from saying
I
anything.
stopped.
I just feel like I feel like
I read the first page of Game of Thrones. I think I'm an expert.
yeah.
I read the first fucking page and there was incest, and I'm like, all right,
Close the
open
book.
This book. I'm done. Watch the episode.
Not today, incest.
No, I know that's just a topic I don't like.
Well,
But
historically, incest occurred amongst lots of royal families.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
talking like here's me, no incest, but the Egyptians incest all the fucking way.
Well,
I
they
mean,
were royal.
lots of.
Let's
I mean, it's
keep it in the bloodline. You know.
I mean, I hate to
seriously.
say this, but it's a really prevalent thing. Like, it really is.
Mhm.
Like, you can't act like it doesn't exist
No,
and that it can't be an interesting plot point in a human drama with fantasy aspects,
For
because it
people who
absolutely
like
can.
that, that's fine.
Well, nobody likes it. You don't have to like everything you watch.
Maybe Ted Cruz.
It's 100%. Ted Cruz loves incest. You're hearing
Fuck
it here
you,
first,
Ted
guys.
Cruz.
Oh lordy.
You don't have to like everything that you watch. Some movies and shows are meant to make you be uncomfortable. Like, have you ever seen Leon the Professional?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna be uncomfortable the entire time you're watching that, and you're
It's-
supposed to be.
Yeah.
Some movies they're not all supposed to make you feel good.
Look,
But
I
in-
understand this and I respect that. But
Look.
like when your first episode closes, or I'll admit this, closes on an incest.
It's really
I'm
important for the story. It actually sets up
They
everything.
killed the kid.
The kid didn't die.
He becomes a three-eyed raven.
No,
He does
he's
get
paralyzed.
He
crippled. Okay.
He can't walk anymore.
He can't walk anymore.
That's worse.
Well, he saw something he wasn't supposed to.
But then he becomes a three-eyed raven.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, hold on. This kid becomes a raven.
Okay, so he just gonna.
derailing.
Magic though. There's tons of magic.
Tons of magic. I'm just gonna make this very quick because I don't want us to be about like going into the plot of everything. So
we don't
he
need
eventually
to, but
goes
we are explaining it to Rose.
Yeah.
She's one off right now. We gotta tell her.
She's off.
I definitely have no fucking clue.
So Bran Stark, he's climbing in the first episode, gets pushed out the window after he sees.
He's climbing a tower. He was told not to, but he's a kid. He's gonna.
But they're banging. Jaime pushes him. He doesn't walk anymore. They're trying to recover him, and then Hodor is introduced as a guy who gets to carry him around a lot. So then he's just trying to figure things out, and ends up in the north, and where he stumbles upon a mysterious figure, kind of like a Gandalf type person, known as the Three-Eyed Raven, who can see everything.
He's like an omnipotent god. Okay, he's not a god, but that's how he observes
Past,
the world.
present, future, he sees everything.
Okay.
And he passes that down to Bran.
Yeah, so that's the Three-Eyed Raven.
I can get that now. Okay.
Yes.
And then Bran trying to learn that accidentally triggers the Hodor situation.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that.
Oh, that's a whole set.
It's a lot.
Google Hodor moment Game of Thrones Rose.
Okay.
It'll break your heart.
Oh, Lord.
There's a lot of really touching and jarring moments throughout the series. Last couple seasons excluded, that are jarring for other reasons, like all the plot points that were just dropped off, entirely. But Cersei is my favorite character. I feel like she's one of the best, well-written female characters, probably besides Peggy Olson from Mad Men. I mean, I have my favorites, but I really, really love Cersei. A lot of people just fight me on that constantly, but I feel like her and Daenerys are like the exact same character.
But she's doing really well for a woman in this world.
As well as you can.
Well.
Absolutely, on your own.
On that point then, Jess, how well would you do as a woman on your own in this universe?
Well,
why is it really, I get the sexism, but is that the only... I don't want to sound terrible, but is that the only reason why you wouldn't live in this?
Well, I'm a regular person with regular income without any highborn family members. My life would be horrible. Mm-hmm. I would most likely live in one of those tertiary northern
like the river towns.
The towns that get raided constantly. I would probably have been married off at a very young age by my father or sold just to make ends meet, which happens a lot to young women. Mm-hmm. We didn't even touch on being a wildling.
Oh no.
What's a wildling?
Oh, well, and it's more incest, but specifically
more incest.
Yeah. So we didn't touch on wildlings, and we don't really need to either, because in a lot of aspects, I feel like a lot of wildling women that don't have that one father, what's her name again?
For who?
The wildling girl that goes with Sam.
The ginger.
Yeah, that specific household that he just kept having daughters and just kept having other daughters with his daughters. They were wildlings, but they weren't a part of the giant group of wildlings beyond the wall.
Oh, another wall.
Am I thinking about the guy with the big beard who drinks giant milk, or is that someone different?
I don't know. It's where we see the first White Walker.
Right, but basically they're on the front lines of these zombies trying to kill them. They don't really live in They're kind of nomadic, aren't they?
Or the wildlings beyond the wall are nomadic. I don't think this specific group of humans are. Mm-hmm. It's not important. Those women, wildling women, actually, I think probably had better lives than all of the women that lived in Westeros. If you want to get down to brass tacks of it, they had a lot more freedom. Even if you were a wealthier woman and you did get to live in the Red Keep in the court with Cersei, and you still had Joffrey to deal with. To contain with, let's be honest. And anybody living in the city around the Red Keep, the capital, they were constantly, there was no food. They weren't taken care of.
That's like
Marjorie tried her best, but that was gone really quickly.
I feel like every season someone brings up there's just no food.
There's just no food, and they're having these giant celebrations and feast and.
Is this up north?
So this is the capital is down south. So there's the president of the United States, we'll say. The White House is the Red Keep. But then there's, the North, they kind of govern themselves a little bit. But they're still under the rule of the South, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like technically, but
I
because the North is so wild and so raw, and it's the elements are, they're kind of left alone to do their own thing.
Is this why the White Walkers kind of came about? Because
They're not really explained well.
It's not. It really is not explained well.
There's like some scenes where we see like people being turned into White Walkers, but you don't really see it. And like maybe it's the implication I think is that it's like the spirits who were betrayed by a man. They're just trying to like fuck man up a little bit, but then the White Walkers kind of get so strong that they're out of hand.
Yeah, I feel like they might have touched on it, but it really, like, it's really shitty to say, but it wasn't a huge part of the plot.
It comes
it really
and goes.
wasn't.
Like they bring it up, and I remember when the episode came out where it's finally like, hey, we're on the front line and the White Walkers are coming to us. I was fully expecting, because that was in the middle of the last season, I was expecting it to be that they lose the battle and then have to go retreat to the big important place to have to, fight the White Walkers.
Fortify it and fight
Fortify it, have every main character come together in one spot and fight one main bad guy. But instead, no. It's like, oh yeah, we're just going to have Jon Snow fight the White Walker, and then Arya is going to come in and knife him, and then everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
That's exactly how that goes.
Yeah, no, they really...
In that exact tone of voice, too.
I mean, we can, on another episode, address how the showrunners dropped the ball, thought they were going to take on that huge Star Wars project, and just wanted to wrap things up.
They rushed it.
We needed one more season, but that's not the point. No. So even for women like Cersei and Daenerys, though, who are ultra powerful, have everything, Cersei talks about it a lot, how she's still living in a man's world, and she's always underestimated, and the only, even her own father bought and sold her off to men for power. I mean, that's ultimately what women were used for, even on a lower level.
I will say, the best possible case scenario, there's
Arya, you take an Arya route. Honestly, that's the only way I see.
Yeah, become nobody and just kill everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. But
I was going to say the best, I think, place for someone like that, and I don't know how it would be.
The Eyrie, maybe?
Since you weren't Highborn, it might be different. The place Highgarden.
Yeah, that's what I was just, the Eyrie and the Highgarden.
Yeah, that's run by the sassy old woman.
Oh, no, you're thinking,
what's her name?
The Tyrells.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, that's Marjorie's grandmother. Yeah, she's wonderful.
Can I just talk about one more scene that I really loved from Game of Thrones?
Oh, absolutely.
And this was the final season when the Lancasters go to raid the Highgarden
the Lannisters.
Lannisters? What? I said Lancaster, did I?
Yeah.
Shit.
They're interchangeable.
I don't know shit about Game of Thrones.
Well, Brody knows more about it than that. Okay, so
I know
one judge
the context, I just don't know their names.
The name's the Fleet. It's been a while.
But whatever. They go over, and then Jamie and... What was the old woman's name again?
Marjorie.
And
yes.
Thank you.
No, the old woman's name is not Marjorie. But she's Marjorie's grandmother.
Well, you just know her as old woman. And then they're
old woman?
It's what she is. And then they're just having this little talk about they're both families. It's it was a real shame.
Lady Olenna. Yeah.
So Jamie and Lady Olenna are together and talking about their
Her
families.
castle's been gone. It's been got. She's on her way out and she knows it.
But she.
Spoiler.
Yeah, whatever. This is all spoilers.
That's true.
We're just ruining Game of Thrones for Rose.
I don't care. It'd be terrible for women. I'm sorry.
It would be. She got it out good though, because her last thing was before Jamie really finished the deal. She just drank a glass. It was poison, and it's yeah, we all made poisons. I didn't think that poison would have such a horrible effect on your son Joffrey there.
Oh. Boom!
No, wait. Yes, burn. Her last lines though, go home.
Tell Cersei I want her to know it was me.
It was me.
Yeah, that's her last line. Cersei, Joffrey, who was king at the time.
What a fucking baller.
Jamie and Cersei's son, their brother and sister. It's not widely, it's a rumor at this point. A lot of people know it to be true, but a lot of people just that's treason. You know what I mean? They keep it all in the family though. But Joffrey was an extremely disgusting, tyrannical, and sadistic ruler. Spoiled child. Yeah. And he was getting married off to Marjorie, Lady Olenna's daughter. And Marjorie played the game real well.
Oh, yeah. That's the best case scenario for a woman in Westeros.
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
Like,
well, if you're
game.
highborn and you have a matriarch like Lady Olenna looking out for you and teaching you, I actually, it's worth mentioning if we're talking about highborn learning to play the game, Sansa.
Yeah.
Sansa is the best example of...
She should have ruled the world by the end.
I agree entirely.
Marry that guy. That's not the
Ramsay Bolton?
Not Ram. Peter Dinklage.
Tyrion. Yeah, they do get married, but they never consummate.
Yeah, it's more like Tyrion's like...
he passes out drunk.
Yeah.
He passes out drunk.
He didn't want to be like everyone else who's kind of taking advantage.
Yeah, plus he had like that hooker that he was in love with that ended up betraying him with his father. That's like a really small side note, but it's good in that Sansa does learn some stuff from Tyrion, and they do develop a relationship together, and they have some trust. Sansa is eventually married off to Ramsay Bolton, but she
comes off on top on that.
She comes up on top. She ends up becoming like a really great strategist, and she learned from all the men around her, and she did it better. And I think that is also a really great thing. But for the common woman in Westeros, that shit ain't happening.
You know who else had it really good in Westeros? What was the name of like the little kid?
Oh, Lyanna Mormont. Yeah.
Mormont. That's right. And she's just a badass.
Yeah, she's maybe like 10 or 11 years old, and she's the last Mormont. Like, so it's still like, like old kings and queens rules. Like, young kid, it's your blood. You get up there, you do it. But she was actually really smart, and it's so great to watch her talk down to all these gigantic men around her.
Yeah. She's like, fuck your politics, I'm gonna burn down your house.
So I guess that is also worth mentioning that like there is space in a lot of these rooms for women to be leaders, but it's not common and it's not easily got. No. There has to be some horrible tragedy and life experience. You gotta work 10 times harder, ladies.
If you're your regular schmegular self, it's not gonna work.
Oh no, for me, no. I would be working with Pork Pie, what was his name, at that place.
That's the best case scenario.
That's best case scenario for me is I somehow make it down the what's the road called? The road from the north to the south. Ain't important what the name is. There's one giant road that everybody takes. It's very unsafe. In general. To navigate alone, you need a man. You need a fighter with you to traverse that. That's my best case scenario as I end up, but it still gets raided and ruined, and the hound's gonna show up and flip a table and stab someone and eat all your chicken. I mean,
eat all your.
Yeah, it would suck.
So okay, that's your best and worst case scenario for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could get into more specificities, but it would lead to me going on and on more about plot points.
Honestly, we could just sit down and talk for like 10 hours.
Me and Brody can just sit here going on and on about different stuff about Game of Thrones. I mean, it's a 7 seasons long show with like 10, how many hours is that? 70 hours? 80 hours?
Too many.
80 hours of content to
80
discuss.
80 hours of content I'm not going to watch.
No.
You could at least do the first 40 is good.
Yeah, I'm good.
But that's best and worst of all the worlds around us.
I would think it's all, and we didn't mention this at the beginning, but we purposefully did not pick any post-apocalyptic bad worlds or zombie worlds because that is obviously bad.
I honestly think like if I was to survive in an apocalyptic world, like a Fallout or a zombie apocalypse,
I would choose the Scooby-Doo apocalypse. Brody just gave me a look.
I was about to get into something, and then you're just like, but Scooby-Doo.
Yep.
No, but like seriously, if let's say I'm in a Fallout and I just come out of a vault and I see that the world is over, I'm just offing myself. I'm not doing that.
No.
I'm not doing that.
Brody, if you can make it to Diamond City though, you would have a good time.
Not doing it.
I don't blame you.
If I went from
Brody would stop at Red Rocket with dog meat. Dog meat.
Okay, dog meat would give me hope.
Yeah, if you found dog meat early, also you have the Mr. Handy robot.
Yeah, he would make me want to do it faster.
I would have fun with him.
No, but like any of these scenarios where I survive from any scenario where I survive from the cushy life that I'm living now, and then get kind of plunged into zombies or anything where it's society's collapse. I'm just not doing it.
What about Vault Boy?
What about Vault Boy?
So Vault Boy is the
mascot
for Vault Tech.
He's a corporate mascot trying to sell me on living through the apocalypse, even though I do not want to do that. Yeah, there's like a million other worlds that we're putting pins in. We might even do part 2 on this sometime down the line.
I agree. I feel like we could each come up with another list and discuss it at length as well.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we want to talk about, guys, before we end today's
Thank
session?
you for listening.
Thank you.
We're going on strong. We're keeping on trucking.
We're gonna be here, fellow creatures. Don't worry. We're all in this together.
Cars universe.
No, I would kill myself.
Yeah, I would hate that.
Yeah.
And with that, we leave you on one last note.
Yeah.